Hello again, it's Crew Call here on the Motor Racing Network, taking you into the garage and talking to the folks that make the race cars go around the racetrack. I'm Steve Post, pit road reporter for Motor Racing Network, joined by 25-time and championship-winning crew chief Todd Gordon. Hello, Todd, how are you?
And 4-time participant in Mexico City.
Four-time participant, yes.
But not this time.
I'm a 5-time participant in Mexico City as far as broadcasting goes. And Todd, what an event. We'll talk a little bit about SVG and the win. What an event. What was your take watching it from afar?
I thought it was a great show. And I mean, to watch it from my home.
Right, sure.
I love the rain. I thought it brought a different kind of makeup to the race. It brought strategy pieces. You heard conversations about holding off pit calls because you thought rain might be coming. Another piece that kind of walks into the fold here. But overall, lots of passing zones, lots of great racing, a dominant performance by SVG at the end. But even like Saturday's race was really, really good. I thought, what a great story with Daniel. Obviously, there's a lot of people that were putting, bubble wrap around whatever car Daniel was running that day. But, I think it's a great way, and we should celebrate taking the Cup Series across the borders.
As I mentioned, I did all four of the Xfinity races, enjoyed every one of them. I just loved it. I was talking to some folks on the plane. I said, we need to do that again. I just thought the whole event was very, very good. Probably in the same category is Team Trackhouse and SVG. Todd, Shane van Gisbergen, this is just, and we saw the same thing when he showed up at Chicago.
It was wet then, too.
Right. We go to a wet new course.
Yeah.
And man, his excellence is just he is an exceptional talent.
He is. His footwork's different. And everybody in the garage has seen this, but nobody's mastered it. And it's one of the things I think that, especially when we get wet, I think his ability to use the clutch to kind of break the downshifts and just dampen the transition, the shock to the tires, I think it helps. Obviously, he is a super talent when it comes to road course racing, street course racing, either one. And I felt like he'd make the playoffs because we've got enough of these in the rest of our regular season. We've got Sonoma coming up, Chicago street course he's won at, Watkins Glen. Yeah. I just felt like there were opportunities for him. You put wet on the racetrack, and I honestly feel like his footwork puts him in a different zip code.
I think what was interesting to me, and I forget whether it was Christopher Bell or Chase Elliott, I had both of them post-race. One of them said, he just made us burn our tires off of our race cars, trying to keep up with them. Just absolutely amazing and excellence. I also want to talk about the effort for the team. Stephen Doran, career first win. We celebrate career first wins as crew chiefs and love it for Stephen Doran. We had some travel issues getting there. Their Friday practice was done with 2 crew members. That is putting it together. I talked to Stephen during the practice session. I said, in between the 2 sessions? I said, how was your session? He says, I think the session's going good considering we only have 2 crew members here working on the race car. 2 crew members, they felt all right about the car on Saturday. Shane said maybe, like a 10th. It's just like, it's not that good. By the end of the race, it was a dominant car. That's a great effort by that team.
I actually remember comments in stage 1 where he didn't feel like he was the best car. Like he was talking about what Ty Gibbs had that he didn't have. And Steven continued to work on the race car. Weather kind of played into it. And I don't know that you get 100% out of SVG in the first stage of a race.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's just we saw 100% in the final 30 laps. Yeah. And it was a 16-second win or something like that.
Yeah.
Just incredible. Congratulations to these guys. And people will draw analogies. I could pose the picture. I could make the argument that he makes around an 8.
Yeah, I think so.
You look at it, and I just feel like if you get through the round of 16, you just need to block and tackle.
Yeah.
Basics. Don't put yourself out. In the second round, you've got the Roval.
Roval in there, which is a tight.
I could see him managing his way through the first round, winning the Roval, and being in the round of 8.
His numbers on ovals are getting better.
He's a student.
Yes, he is.
He is a student of the sport. He didn't get to be this good at road course racing by just chance.
No.
He understands his craft, and he's developing his craft on ovals.
Yeah, really, really neat stuff. So congratulations to SVG, Trackhouse Racing, Stephen Doran, that first-time winner, and another first-time winner in the Xfinity Series, Corey Shea, the crew chief for Daniel Suarez. I am telling you, when Daniel Suarez takes the lead, passes a car for 21st, oh my God, what a celebration. Unreal. Just so neat.
You never had to worry about wondering when the 9 car was going to be coming back to the start-finish line because the stadium section erupted as he drove through there, right?
Every time he went by. To me, the story on this one, and again, this goes to Corey Shea, the crew chief, backup car. Wadded the primary car up in practice. They put a backup car together, started tailback on the field. No doubt, you're right. There was some bubble wrap around them. And when you have your lead, the fastest 2 cars get into it and get taken out, Christopher Bell had an engine failure. I think there was 3 cars markedly better than Daniel Suarez. Yeah. Those 3 cars took care of themselves. Then you put him in the category, and man, and I'm telling you, the end of that race, when he put his head down over the last few laps of that race, I'm telling you, and you think about the weight of the world, the weight of a country, he did a masterful job driving at the end of that race.
Yeah, congratulations to Daniel and that whole program. They did a great job. Connor Zilic had good speed.
Yes.
I mean, really, as you talked about, I think Zilic was probably the fastest car there. Drove his way from the back up to top 5 finish.
At the end of it, yeah.
Which was impressive. But Daniel did what he had to do. And he was there to come from the back and end up with a victory. And that was, 3 hours to put that backup car together?
Yeah.
That's a thrash.
It really was.
Congratulations to that whole 9 team.
Yep. Everyone on Junior Motorsports, that is for sure. We're going to do something a little different here today.
Yeah.
We're going to talk some tough trucks of NASCAR. And who better to talk to than the veteran crew chief, just picked up a win at Nashville with his driver, Rajah Caruth, Kevin Bono Manion. Love chatting with Bono, and we'll do that next. Stay with us.
The NASCAR channel is available now on Tubi. 24/7 news, documentaries, with access to the exclusive NASCAR Vault. The NASCAR channel, always on, always free, only on Tubi.
Welcome back. It is Crew Call here on the Motor Racing Network. So glad you joined us, and let's get right after it here. Let's go up to Spire Motorsports in Mooresville, North Carolina. Crew chief for Rajah Caruth on that Truck Series number 71 truck. Got to keep my numbers all together. Kevin Bono Manion joins us. Hello, Bono. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
We are doing well. Bono, I kind of want to start off big picture here. We'll talk a little bit about 2025 and that win at Nashville and what that means going forward. But you're listed in the on the website of Spire Motorsports as one of the founding fathers of the Truck Series program there. Over the last 4 years, just describe a little bit on what you've been able to accomplish and what you guys have built up there in that Spire Motorsports Truck Series team.
Yeah, it's I sometimes don't even read any of that stuff, but I had somebody tell me that not too long ago as well. And that, that's pretty big for them to just put that in there. It's an honor, honestly, to help start a truck team. I kind of did that over at what is now Tricon, was over there with David Gilliland when he kind of bought out Red Horse. And it was years and years ago, I had this dream of owning my own race team. And I went and spoke to both Jeff and TJ. And TJ, said, man, what the heck you want to own a race team for? I'm like, I don't know. I just want to do it, And just having the modified and learning that side of being an owner, and finding sponsors and getting to the track and understanding how hard it is, and was able to climb the ranks and build it's now ARCA, build a K&N car and race it with Ben Kennedy at Iowa and lead laps. So I really wanted to go truck racing, and I started down that road. I mean, I had the hauler, had all pit equipment, and that's when I ended up selling everything to David and going over there. But after my last stint with GMS, with Zane, and running second in the points, and then GMS going down from 5 teams to 2, to make a long story short, that I talked to Mike Gricci, and I'm like, man, I really want to do my own deal. And he says, well, I'm kind of getting out of Hattori, and I got some money, and talked to TJ and Jeff, and they had us down for a meeting, and within 10 minutes we had a deal, and they would support it. They let me treat me like it's my team. I'm learning, big picture of how to run a team and own a team and respect people, and it's been difficult, but they give us everything here we need to do it. And a couple years out of my shop, we won some races, and then they really got big and bought into KBM. So here we are today. I guess, yes, I'm a founding father, proud to be founding father of the truck team for Spire, and everything's pointed in the right direction.
Yeah, so it's a great piece. I remember talking to you when you were, you walk out the door to your shop out back to work on the trucks to get rolling when the whole piece started. It was impressive where that's come from then. What's it like to be the veteran leader for a group of really young talent?
Yeah, it's like I said, it's a whole nother aspect of, I still crew chief, but still manage and set up meetings, and like I said, go to do a lot of sim with these young drivers, and we're getting ready for an ARCA test next Tuesday with a young driver. So just getting to learn all the different aspects, I think, is the most interesting for me. And the next step would be to stop crew chiefing and kind of being like a team manager. I don't know when that's going to be. I do, Todd, like yourself, you probably missed the crew chiefing sometimes. Yep. I really enjoy calling races, trying to figure out how to I enjoy strategy, and looking forward to Pocono this week. It's the first time we've run 80 laps there, so some strategy is going to come into play there. So I've been thinking about that a lot, but at the end of the day, it's still just it's really fun to work with all these young guys coming up, and then throw some veteran Cup guys in as well.
So as you talk about the strategies and looking forward, it's been a couple of years since the trucks have road course raced, and you're coming up with Lime Rock and the Glen rest in the regular season, and you go to the Roval in the playoffs. How do you strategize that? How have you looked forward for that?
So I just talking to Aaron, my engineer, yesterday, and I said the only thing I really want to get out of Lime Rock and Watkins Glen is learn everything we need to for the Roval, because it's the only. I'm not saying it's the only race that counts, but it's definitely a points race in the playoffs. So we're doing a lot of work at GM down in the simulator. The tools have been very good this year. So going into Lime Rock, it's a little bit of a what we call like a hot dog break, being the Cup and Xfinity guys are in Atlanta, so we'll have our own pit crew with our own road crew, and those are semi-controlled caution unless it rains, and then we'll have to jump over the wall. So there is some strategy there. We can fuel anytime, tires only under the brake, so it's kind of an easier race to call, but still, we just want to learn a new track, and then Watkins Glen, where we all have. Raj has some laps there, and then most of the crew chiefs here have some time up there. So it's fun, the road course. I enjoyed watching Mexico City. I remember going there as it seemed like a youngster, and went in there with Martin, so it brought back a lot of good memories.
Yeah, you mentioned wins with Martin. You've won with Martin Truex Jr., Jamie McMurray, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Daniel Suarez, Kyle Busch, Tyler Ankrum, Zane Smith, William Byron, Kyle Larson, Nick Sanchez, and now Rajah Caruth. Kevin, what does that mean to you, just to have such an incredible number of drivers you've won with? And what did that mean to get Rajah on that list a couple of weeks ago in Nashville?
Yeah, I'll first start off with Raj. He's definitely a great talent, a good young man. And I remember him walking into my shop up there. It seems like yesterday, but it's been a few years now. And yep, I'm going to run my first truck race with Spire. And, he just was just all about racing and the history of the sport. And heck, he was playing soccer with my kids. He was just, always around. And he just showed up here this morning. He's just, he wants to do it. He wants to be here. He wants to move up, and he's showing he can do that. But, as far as all the other wins, like I said, I don't pay too much attention to that. I don't really do social media too often or at all.
Smart man.
I haven't heard that list, when you spell it out, and That's pretty, it's good drivers. It's being around good crews, good teams. And you learn something from everything. And what I learned from Chip Ganassi was I'm just doing my job. That's what I pay you to do, So it's really cool to have them accolations, but just doing my job.
You talked a little bit about Lime Rock and Watkins Glen really aren't the points races that the Roval is. You look at the round that the Roval leads into. You've got the Roval, Talladega, Martinsville as really the opportunity to make the championship four. Are you strategizing your way through the playoffs? Where does that all fall in?
Well, you're exactly right. That grouping of three races would scare anybody.
Yeah.
And it for surely scares me in the fact of just so much is out of control at some of them, that style of racing. You can get everyone's rear bumper really easy at them tracks. Mm-hmm. So you just have to. That's going to be a tough one, that's for sure. So when we get to that grouping of three races, we're going to just take them each one race at a time.
No doubt. Good strategy there. One race at a time. Next up is Pocono. You mentioned the race is a little bit longer. It used to be 175 miles, a little bit longer. It's 200 miles. What comes to mind as far as truck goes, as far as setup, as far as strategy? When you get ready to go this weekend to Pocono, what comes to mind?
Setup really isn't going to change, or the weather looks really good. Slight chance of rain in the afternoon, but that's Pocono. Mm-hmm. It's a late race. It's a 5:00 race. Does stay late. We're getting into the long days, but it's a big track. So one rainstorm could throw it into the next day. But as far as strategy, like I said, it's more just you can pit without losing a lap there. So short pit in the stages, and then just our fuel mileage, right? So we don't have a reserve pump. We don't have the data that the Cup guys have. It's old stick ruler and a pencil, basically, to figure out your mileage. And we have fuel mats, and it's just different. But, we have a pretty good handle on fuel mileage. And once again, everyone has the same engine, has the same, fuel reading or fuel map. So everyone's pretty close. If one guy runs out, you're close. It's up to your driver to save you a little more.
Yeah, it's a good point. I hadn't thought about that, but with the Ilmore engine, everybody's pretty much on the same tune. It's just how much drag and how much throttle time you've got in your truck and where you work forward from there. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. There's a lot going on in the building over there at Spire. Yeah. That's a building that was built to run a truck team, and it's got 3 Cup teams and 4 truck teams. What's the logistical challenges over there? Does it fit at all?
It does. We've definitely everything has a place, everything has a home, and it has to be there. And you got to put it away, and you got to clean up, and you got to take care of your area. But believe it or not, when people come in, they're like, "Man, I really didn't realize it was like this." But we do right down the street. We have Spire Manufacturing where we move CNC and the chassis shop. So that opened up where we put the pull down and some of the things for the Cup cars, and what was CNC is now body hanging, and so it all works. Any truck team or any shop that has trucks inside, tractor trailers inside, the first thing that goes is the tractor trailers. They park outside. So the truck bay is now the tear down bay for both divisions. It actually works really good, and everyone works good together between if you're on a Cup or the truck, everyone gets along pretty well, actually.
You mentioned everyone getting along well. I find your crew chief room, if you will, fascinating on the truck side. Alan Hart, Brian Patty, Chad Walter. Just describe kind of the dynamic between you and your fellow crew chiefs on the truck side.
Yeah, Alan is definitely the newest to me. He was my engineer last year, so that was an easy fit to kind of slide him over. Brian and I have worked together as teammates and also rivals. He was back in Xfinity with Joe, and most recently working with Brian at Ganassi when he had Montoya and we had McMurray. Worked desk next to each other, and actually got along really well with Brian, about the same age. And Brian definitely beats to his own drum. does things a certain way, and he likes things right, which I really I like. So, and then Chad, I've worked with him for years and years at DEI, and he was on my pit crew at one time. He was my engineer at one time. So he was an easy fit and an easy hire. He got out of the sport for a little bit, went motorcycle racing, and he happened to just be in town for the motorcycle race. And I was outside of DGR, and we were sawzalling up a Talladega truck. And he said, "Man, you're looking for help?" I said, I very well I might be. So, we got a couple different diverse people in there, but once again, it's for 4 teams. We all get along relatively well, and we race relatively well together as teammates.
That is really, really neat. Kevin, always a pleasure to catch up with you, whether we do it at the track or doing it here on Crew Call. We appreciate your time and wish you well. Can't wait to see what you guys have this week at Pocono and on throughout the season.
Sounds good, guys. Thank you.
There we go. Kevin Bono Manion, crew chief for Rajah Caruth up at Spire Motorsports. Stay with us. More Crew Call in just a moment.
3, 2, 1, start your engine.
The NASCAR channel is streaming now, exclusively on Tubi. Go deeper into NASCAR with 24/7 news, documentaries, and explore the vault of timeless NASCAR stories and unforgettable races. From crushing defeats to the thrill of victory. The NASCAR channel, always on, always free. Only on Tubi.
Welcome back to Crew Call. So glad you've joined us here. If you like what we're doing, like, share, subscribe, review, do all of those fun things on whatever platform you are watching us on. We would be grateful if you would do that. Kevin Bono Manion, 5 Cup wins, 17 Xfinity wins, and now 12 Truck Series wins. Boy, that's a guy that has put together a really, really solid career in NASCAR's top 3 divisions of racing.
Not to mention, he started out with some modified wins before he moved south. So,
yes.
Kevin's done a great job and worked his way forward. So, he's been here since the mid-'90s and having an impact ever since. Love that he's continuing to look forward.
2 championships in the Xfinity Series. He's also a Daytona 500 and a Brickyard champion, crew chief. So
pretty good resume.
Not a bad resume, and a really good guy to lead your program if you're Spire Motorsports. I think that's really neat, and I love the perspective of he wanting to own a team and being able to quasi do that.
Yeah,
but
with somebody else's money.
Nice situation, that is for sure. Our friends at Goodyear are, of course, a big part of the sport, and they've joined us here on Crew Call, so we're glad to have the folks at Goodyear around and joining us here on Crew Call. And what they've charged us with doing was talk about upcoming strategy for races, and we got one of the best crew chiefs in the business. So, crew chief, what are we looking at for Pocono this weekend?
I wouldn't call myself the best in the business. I'd be still doing it if I were, right?
No,
but you look at Pocono this weekend. Bono talked a little bit about it in the interview. This is a place, the lap times here, the lap distances, it's like 53, 54 seconds. You can pit under green and not go a lap down. I mean, I feel like anywhere within 15 to 20 seconds a leader, you can pit under green and get back out. That brings the piece when you look at Pocono, 400-mile race, stage breaks at 30 and 95, 160 laps total. The first stage, you can run on fuel. I feel like your fuel window's right around 40 laps.
Right.
Might be 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. It's in that range. So let's look at 40 as a number. Stage 1, 30 laps. I feel like most of the field that isn't points racing, that doesn't feel like they're right there at the cusp of it, short pitting plays. You're going to stop at 27 or 28 if you're the leader, if you got the opportunity. But there will be some guys that stay out and cycle that to get the stage points. A stage win is out there, a bonus point. That's a carrot to dangle, but you'll see guys come there. They'll short pit that stage to kind of maintain the track position. The guys that stay out for stage points are going to lose track position by pitting at the stage. Second stage ends up at 65 laps, but really by the time we go green, it's 60. And the pit cycle really happens about 32 by the time you get to pit road. So 60 laps, that's a fuel run and a half. You've got the opportunity to short that. I don't know that short pitting plays as much here. Because it's such a place that you can go green flag pitting. I'd look for that to kind of be split in half, maybe a little short of in half. So when you look at that, I would say, coming at 60 to 65 might make sense. We'll see a cycle there. Again, stage 2, I think short pitting plays. Same reasons for stage 1. it puts you. It's not really vulnerable. You can short pit, and it's still one fuel stop to the end. So, stages. I expect stage 2 and stage 3 to be broken with one stop. If a caution happens, I don't know. I'd really like to have pitted. Maybe you'll short pit a little bit because it puts you where if a caution happens, you flip the guys that haven't pitted yet.
Yeah. It's fascinating stuff. The strategy at Pocono is always just a fun race. I love those races at Pocono because of the various strategies. That you just laid out.
It is. It's a place. This and Indianapolis are two places you can pit under green that are ovals. I mean, we see it. We just saw it this weekend.
Road courses,
you see it at road courses all the time because the lap distance time wise is over a minute. Well, here in Indianapolis are both longer laps where you can actually pit under green and not lose a lap. That brings a different strategy forward to these two ovals. And
that is some of the strategy we look at coming out of Pocono, presented by Goodyear. Quality from the track to the street. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. Motor Racing Network will be busy at Pocono Raceway this weekend. Friday, 4:30 Eastern Time. It is the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, the MillerTech Battery 200. Saturday, 12:30 in the afternoon, NASCAR Cup Series practice and qualifying. At 3 o'clock, NASCAR Xfinity Series, Explore the Pocono Mountains 250. And on Sunday, 1 o'clock, NASCAR Cup Series Great American Getaway 400 presented by visitpa.com. I'm biased. Pocono's my home track. First place I ever saw a Cup Series race. First place I ever raced and worked in the sport. I'm biased. But for all of those reasons, strategy-wise, atmosphere-wise, everything, I love going to Pocono.
And the racetrack.
Yes. 3
completely different straightaways, 3 completely different corners. A challenge for all of these guys. I talked to Ross Chastain, and at one point he says, why don't you make it perfect for me in all 3? He was kind of joking about the driver-crew chief relationship. I'm like, you just can't. 3 iconic racetracks. 1 and 2 is out of, I think, Trenton, New Jersey, which is no longer, but look it up on
what an iconic
Wikipedia
track.
Or whatever. It was really cool. I say 1 and 2. That's 1. 2 is Indianapolis.
Right.
It's the banking of Indianapolis, but it's got a big bump in it. Indianapolis doesn't. It kind of separates the 2. And 3 being Milwaukee Mile.
Yeah.
An iconic racetrack as well. Really challenging because there's banking in 1 and 2. There's a little less in 2, and then 3 is pretty flat. So long straightaways, lots of opportunities. That fan out into turn 1. Second. Well, what would this be? Third now, right?
Yeah. Behind Talladega, Mexico City, and that straightaway at Pocono, longest straightaway.
3,800 feet. It's a long one. You'll be 5 wide into turn 1. It's a game of chicken.
It is really, really cool. So we hope you join us this weekend with our coverage from Pocono Raceway. We appreciate Kevin Bono Manion joining us, but more important than all of that, thank you for joining us this time on Crew Call here on the Motor Racing Network.